Geographers, welcome to Geography 221, Spatial Analysis for GIS, or something along those lines. This is the first video I'm putting together for this class, so I'll introduce the idea of the class as well as get you into your first bit of work that you're going to be doing, your first exercise. Now, if you're taking this in order, you've just completed Geography 220, which is the data class, all about finding data, creating data, maintaining data, things along those lines. And data, good data, huge when it comes to doing good GIS work, right? But data, that's just part of it. This is where we learn how to take the good data and actually get something out of it, right? Turn it into information, relevant information for the specific problem, question we have, whatever it might be that we're trying to accomplish. All right, that's the progression of what we're doing, what you're learning here is to go from, yeah, we need to get that good data, but we also need to know what to do with it once we've got a hold of it. So that's what this class is all about. And the way to think about it as we move forward here is to think in terms of tools. That's what this class is going to be all about. Introducing you to some pretty cool, pretty powerful tools that ArcGIS has that we can utilize here. Right, so we're going to get into what these tools are. These tools help us think in terms of workflows. Okay, when we're trying to do some GIS work, when we're trying to solve a problem, answer a question, make a decision, whatever it might be, we want to think in terms of workflows. How we go from just posing the question itself to finding the data, and then once we have that data, well, what do we need to do, right? What tools are we going to use in order to get that answer that we're looking for, right? And that might sound kind of like, well, duh. But the problem is that we face when we start out with GIS stuff is just kind of like, okay, I need a map that shows X. Okay, and you just try to create it from nothing, right? And that can be daunting because you go, well, I don't really know how to do this if it isn't already presented to me, or if I'm not given some steps in how to get to this final map. It can just be overwhelming. But if we think in terms of a workflow, okay, my end goal is X, a map of X, data analysis, a chart, whatever it might be. How am I going to get to that? Okay, first, probably find this data set. I know where to look for this data set. I can take this data set and actually extract the relevant data from this one, right? That's all that 220 stuff that we did. And with this part, it's going to be, okay, once I have the data, what tools do I need to utilize to get to MapX, right? To that final product, whatever it is I'm trying to get at. That's the whole idea with this stuff. So I'm going to introduce a lot of different techniques and tools in the class, but the good thing is it's more of a way of thinking about this stuff. And you can always Google and search and read forums, look at the help in ArcGIS, and get a sense of how to do things with tools that we don't get into in this class. Okay, that's the goal. That's the kind of general philosophy here. All right, let's move forward. Let's get into what I want you to initially get into. I have on the screen my ArcGIS Pro opened up. I also have my downloads folder, and from the Canvas class, I've downloaded 2 PDFs. This is all in the files section. In the main files section, I have any of the readings will be in that main part. So download both 4.1 and 4.2. It's making spatial decisions. And they're misspelled. Look at that. Well,
the main file.
I'll leave that. Maybe I'll fix it in Canvas, but I'm gonna leave that here. Decisions. And then in the data portion of your file section in Canvas, there's this module 4 zip file. And so go ahead and download that, and as we've done in every other class, extract on this stuff. Right click, you just hit extract all. And with this, one thing, I don't know if I mentioned in previous class videos, this was something a student pointed out. There was an issue that I think some of you were having. If I just leave it like this and just go extract here, just extract it here. In fact, let me do that. So I do that, hopefully it won't take too long.
There was an issue that I think some of you
okay, come on, you can do it. You can do it. There we go. Okay, so what it did, let me close that, is I have this unzipped module 4, looks good. If I double click in there, there's the exact same folder embedded in it because that folder already existed, right? And then I get into the actual stuff, the actual contents. And I think what it is when you have module 4 and module 4, these repeat file names, it freaks the computer out. It confuses it, and it doesn't do well. It doesn't complete a, running a tool or a process or whatever it might be. So that said, I'm just going to delete this. So make sure when you are unzipping these things, as we've been doing already, just go ahead. It wants to just give you a copy the zip name and put it in there. We don't want that. So I just want to put it straight into the downloads folder. Hopefully that makes sense. So now when this pops up, it takes me right to the material. Okay, that's the idea there. So make sure you're doing it that way, that you don't have redundant folders in here. And so what we've got is this module 4 data for these. These are scans. They're not the prettiest things, but I'm doing what I can do. For this Making Spatial Decisions book. Let me open up this 4.1. And so this book, no, yes, hi, I don't need AI to help me look at this. So with this book, it's one of the few with Esri Press. Some of their books are great, some of them not so great. And a lot of these tutorial ones I've never been a big fan of. This one I actually loved, simply because they take it they take it a little more seriously, right? It's not this, hey, follow step 1, go to step 2, go to step 3. Look at this cool thing you just did. And then when you've done it, you're like, okay, that's cool, I guess, but I don't really know what I did. This one gets you thinking more like a GIS professional. It presents you with a problem and says, how are we going to fix this? How are we going to answer this question? What do we need to do? Kind of gets you thinking like you would be thinking if you're sitting in an office and your boss came to you and said, hey, we need to figure this out. And you kind of go, sure, yeah, I'll absolutely do it. And then you're back at your desk and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do. That's how this book sets stuff up. So I've got tutorial 4 that we're going to be working with, but there's good stuff in here. And this is, I should say, this is from 2008. It's the older version. This is dealing with ArcGIS Desktop, which is the predecessor to ArcGIS Pro. I think there's a newer version, an updated version they put out, but no, it's such a pain to get a copy of it, and it works here. So there's a little adjustments that need to be taken into account, but I think this is actually useful, okay? And having this not be totally set up for the software that you're using. It gets you thinking a little more, and that's where you want to be with GIS. It's not that you must be following complete instructions and directions for a specific type of software. No, you should be able to read this and you're like, okay, well that tool or that window I'm opening up or whatever doesn't make sense, but I know if I need to get into the catalog pane where it says Arc Catalog, that's just the catalog pane. That's it. Or if I need to do this tool, I don't so much go into Arc Toolbox in the old way that we did it, but I just bring up that geoprocessing pane and I'll look for it in there. Right? That's the idea with this, is that I want you to be thinking in terms of this isn't daunting. I can figure it out. And I'm going to go through this first one and help you out with this stuff. But yeah, so that's, we've got this module 4 project 1 and then 4.2. And with 4.2, this one is much shorter and to the point. And these both have to do with hurricane damage. That's what we're going to be looking like. No, I don't need AI's help. So with this, 4.1, very detailed, a much longer document, and 4.2 is you're effectively doing the same thing, but the idea is you've completed 4.1, you've learned how to do this stuff over here, you can work on your own with 4.2. So I'll have you turn in stuff from this 4.2, dealing with Hurricane Wilma, but what we'll be working on, initially what I'll be talking about, is this 4.1, which has to do with Hurricane Katrina. You follow? Hopefully you follow. So what I want you to do, let's go ahead and minimize that, is go in, as we've done previously, and I'll show it here just as a refresher, but that kind of thing where I expect you to be able to do it. We're going to create a new project in here, a new map project, and I'm just gonna call it, let's call it Hurricane. Yeah, I'll do that. Hit OK. Let it do its thing. And then what I'll also do, here, hold on, what's thinking, I'll move some stuff around. Come on, you can, come on. Come on. It's sleepy. It's, just moved past the holidays. We're all kind of coming out of our hibernation there. The computer is no exception. My goodness. All right. Well, okay. That's doing that. Let me move this stuff around. Let's see if I can already. So while that's putting its stuff together, projects in your documents folder, right? ArcGIS projects. I should have one called Hurricane now. Beautiful. And just to make everything easy, I'll go ahead and move my PDFs over here just to keep them. Oh, because I have it open, right? All right, fine. Close that. Try again. Okay, and then in this module 4, if I open this up, all I really need, if you go in here, there's project 1, documents, results, data, all this stuff. Just go into data, this is for 4.1, and we've got this Katrina.gdb. Okay, so that geodatabase I'm going to bring over, and if I can make here project 2, data, Wilma. .gdb. I'm going to leave these layer files, just get the actual raw data in there. And so that should be good. That should be all I need. Okay, so that'll be the end of this first video. I'll stop it here, get this all set up, and in the next video, we'll open up this 4.1. I'll point out some key things, kind of walk you through some of this stuff, and we'll get doing some some spatial analysis. Make some spatial decisions. All right. See you then.